This is the old school traveler family. I'm back. I've been to Panama for a while, but I'm gonna tell you about Panama City, Panama. It's a huge difference between Panama City, Panama, and some of the other cities in Panama. But this is focused on Panama City. And let me tell you about Panama City. It's got one of the world's greatest skylines you ever gonna see. I love the skyline. I love pictures of it. It is just what it is. I mean, it's very, very nice. But now I went to Panama City, Panama, and I went all over the city. I mean, I went everywhere. And these videos show you that I went everywhere. And it's just some nice views. But I'm going to tell you right now, though, if you go to Panama City, Panama, the one thing you got to look for, don't walk looking up, because you will walk into a sidewalk that doesn't exist. I'm talking about you may walk into a sewer, a sewer. You may walk into a whole lot of things, but keep your mind focused on why you're there. I went to San Francisco. I went to Costco Vejo. I went to El Grejo. I went to Bella Vista. And these videos are going to show you, I did driving tours. I did walking tours. I went to El Parque Omar. I went all over. But more importantly, though, I got a chance to talk to a lot of the local Panamanians, which is, to me, is always more interesting than just going to a city and just dealing with Americans. No. I went all over, and I really enjoyed myself, and I had food everywhere. I had food places that you wouldn't believe, and there are places I went to that a lot of expats recommend because they had authentic Panamanian food. Now, let's talk about Panamanian food. Panamanian food is very, very cheap if you go to where they specialize in Panamanian food and not an expat wants to be Panamanian food. And now a lot of expats wants to go there. They want to eat, burgers and fries and all that kind of crap. No. I went there and I got really, really embossed is the word I want to use. I got really embossed into the Panamanian culture. Now, Panama City is what you're talking about, and they got a lot of plazas, a lot of malls. They got upscale malls. They got cheap malls. I'm not a shopper. If you're a shopper, it's heaven for you. But I found a lot of things I want to do that the typical person may not want to do. Things like, I'm all about photography. I like taking pictures of a lot of different places. So I'm all about photography and stuff. So that was a little bit different, because I couldn't take the drone without having a lot of hiccups. But Panama City, though, I'm going to tell you, it's a pretty city. And if you've ever been in Miami, it's going to remind you of Miami. It's going to remind you of Miami 100%. But saying that, it's just that the people there, they all got 3 or 4 jobs. So that was not a big deal there for me. And they all got 3 or 4 jobs. So no matter what job they got, they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody can get you whatever you want. And, Panama City itself, some people say it is the expensive part of Panama. I didn't quite feel that way. But then again, I went on a relocation tour. But then I stayed 3 weeks later. But to me, it was still cheap. And, I don't know what people's budgets are, but there are some people who wanted to go and live on like $1,000 a month, which is like crazy to me because my budget was $5,000 a month. And I don't really want a high rise. I want a nice place, but it's definitely a city that is in my top 2 of places to live at, going forward. Because you got a great airlines, Copa Airlines. The airport is not too big. It's like a mid-sized airport, but it's not too big. It's nice, and I just like the location of Panama City itself because I can use that for a launching pad to go to other cities in Central and South America. So that's not bad at all. And Copa Airlines, I'm going to do a video on that because that needs its own video. But at the same time, I really, really enjoyed Panama City. I enjoyed riding around, riding around it, Panama City. I enjoyed the park. I enjoyed everything there was to offer outside of the infrastructure. Man, you be walking down the street and you step into damn sewer drainage and break your damn leg. You break your leg. I mean, there are things that you just don't see happening that can't happen. I mean, it is what it is. And now Panama itself puts a lot of money into trying to shore up or fix these problems. They're doing a very, very bad job. They're doing a very, very, very bad job. Now, let me tell you about Panama City itself. I went there during the dry season twice. I have not been there during the rainy season. I'm going back for the rainy season. I've not been there for the rainy season. I'm just going to tell you the way it is. I've not been there for that yet, but I'm looking forward to that because I hear all about the nightmares of going there during rainy season. But, I tend to think the rainy season, when I say I tend to think, based on YouTube and some other people I talk to, it's kind of like Miami. It's kind of like Florida. You get a hard rain, very hard, for about 15 to 30 minutes. You get a very hard rain, and it is what it is. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to try it out because if you go there on a cruise, you don't do yourself justice when you come to other cities outside of Cologne or Panama City, where where the cruise docks at. But at the same time, you want to go back and see the best and the worst of any place that you may buy a place at. You can't go there and see just the best and think this is how it's going to work. No. You got to see the best and the worst. And I'm thinking about going there this June, maybe July, because I want to see really, really what's it like during the worst part of the season of the, I want to see everything bad and good. I've seen the good and I like the good, but I want to see the bad because if I'm going to retire there, I want to see the bad to see what's like, and now I got a few friends there that can get me around. I want to see what it's got to offer. Because if I had to pick two cities that I want to live in right now, and I would pick Panama City and New York. And the reason being, because their locations and their weather, and the fact is I can decide to live doing the good or the bad or whatever I want to do. I can decide to do all that. But also the airports can get me to anywhere in the world I want to get to. You live in New York, you can go anywhere. Panama is pretty much the same. But Panama specializes in the South American part of the world, and New York is Europe, and Asia. I like Asia, but I'm not a big fan as far as I gotta be in a place that I can get to Asia no problem at all. Because lived there, done that. Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot that make me want to come back yesterday. Where in Panama, I want to go to Colombia, Peru, and some of the other places. Some of the other places that people talk about or they never been to, they dream. What did I talk about? They dream about. I'm gonna do it. And if you look at my webpage, it shows you where I'm going, when I'm going, and what almost what I expect to see. That just is the way I'm gonna do it. But now, when you go to Panama, they got so many places like Casco Viejo, which is where I spent a lot of time at. But I also spent time in other parts of Panama City too, though, because I went to places like Clayton. I went to other places that I want to see, and the canal is nice. Don't get me wrong, and it's a great photo opportunity. But the canal is not all Panama, and Panama is not all just about the canal. So my whole thing is I want to see all of that, and I want to see places that I guess places that most people don't want to see. I seen the ghetto or whatever you call it, barrio. I seen all that stuff too. So I'm not giving you just my opinion, but do I think somebody can come from anywhere and make it in Panama City? Hell yeah. Panama City is a city of people who just want to make it. I mean, you got people on the side of the road selling coconuts, selling plantains. I mean, I like that kind of environment. I didn't see a lot of food trucks. I saw a few, but I didn't see a lot of people. What do you want to say? I didn't see a lot of people on the side selling any and everything. But I did like the idea that you can pull up almost anywhere and just pull on the side of the road and just sell whatever you got to sell. I love that. I love that because I saw fresh food, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, all for sale on the side of the road. Not a lot. It's not like a food truck city, but it's a foodie city. That's the thing. That's what I like about the most about Panama. It is a definitely foodie city because any kind of food you want, they got. Now, let me tell you about that food. The one thing about the food that I did not like, but I can get over it, is that a lot of things are fried. But, I look at fried foods, and I think the problem is not with fried foods. I think the problem is with me. The problem with me is that I like options. Fried, baked, broil. I like a lot of options. Most cities don't give you a lot of options because because restaurants' idea is to seat you, feed you, and get you out the door quick as possible so the next person can come in. And that's okay too. Because if I'm a waiter or waitress, I know that's where my money is turn these seats over, getting the tip, and saying bye. I totally understand that. But me, I'm a sit down, take my time type person, and I like to see what options I have. So that's just me. But Panama City has all of that. You have options. And the thing about Panama City I did like a lot is that the places that sell you dinner can also serve you breakfast. I like that a lot. I like the options because I went to a place called El Trapiche, which is authentic Panamanian food. A lot of expats goes there. I went there, probably 4 or 5 times. I mean, I can't even remember. But every single meal was better than the meal before. That's what I want in a good restaurant. Every single meal was better than the meal before I had at the same place. And every staff was good. But I'm going to tell you right now, though, the one in San Francisco was the best out of the bunch. And I say that because the waitress, they don't hover around you. They don't nag you. They don't really bother you a lot. But at the same time, they're always there. You can always reach out and just touch somebody. You can always reach out and just see them. It's kind of like how babies want to walk. When they first start walking, they don't want you holding them. But they want to know that if they fall, you're going to catch them. And that's kind of how El Trapiche worked, and the food was so cheap. I mean, the same meal I was spending $25 on up here in the Northeast was like $7, $8. The same exact meal. And they gave you so much food. There are times that I kept saying, listen, this is a lot of food for the money. I don't want all this food. But that's what came to me. And me being a Metasaurus, I just ended up saying, okay, I'll take it. And of course, I gave it a go on the food to see if I could eat it all, which I did every meal. But then I felt bloated the whole damn day because I knew I ate a lot of damn food. So, it's one of the things that they got places that you're going to like. They got, and plus Panama City, you can walk around the whole city. I mean, well, maybe not the whole city, but the part that you may like, if you're a tourist, you can walk around that all day long. And, nothing like a 10-mile walk. It wasn't like it was a 40-mile walk. It was like a 10-mile walk. And the park took up maybe 4 miles of that, But once you leave the park, El Parque Omar, once you leave it, You're like, okay, this is what I can deal with. But at the same time, Panama City, there is no food you're going to want to eat that you can't find. Whether it's Italian, whether it's Mexican, not so much Mexican as Italian. They had a lot of damn Italian food, a lot of Asian food too. I mean, when I say Asian, it's primarily Chinese. They had a lot of that available too. You know, and that's kind of like a new thing. But the Italian foods, it seemed like a lot of the chefs or the good chefs in Panama go to school in Italy. You know, maybe because Latin languages, but a bunch of them go to school in Italy and stuff. And I thought that was just kind of cool. I said, okay, they all go to school in Italy and stuff. But Panama City is definitely one of the best foodie cities in the world. And to me, it would be number one if everything wasn't fried. But because everything is fried, that drops it a little bit. It ain't like New York just yet, Chicago just yet, and maybe Paris. But you definitely, well, you know, I say all that, but when you look at the cost of it, it's definitely number one as far as cost and quality. And plus, none of their foods are GMO. You don't have none of that stuff in Panama. It's all natural stuff. And you feel bloated because you ate a lot, not because of all the additives they added to it. That's what causes bloatation, in my words, in the States, where you're bloated because you got all that breading and all the other stuff and all that GMO stuff is all added to the food, but not in Panama. Panama, you get real food, and the one thing about Panama City in the restaurants, I'm just gonna tell you, bad and good, you don't see a lot of vegetables. That bothered me. Now, they give you a lot of food, don't get me wrong, but not a lot of vegetables. And I like a lot of vegetables because I like to say, okay, I'm not going to have a digestive problem tomorrow morning when I wake up. In Panama, you're going to have that because they're going to load you up, and there's no way I can eat 3 full meals a day. Now, Panama is a city of all the light-skinned Panamanians. They're all light-skinned. You find a few dark ones that came from Cologne or somewhere else, and you're going to find that with a few of them, you know. But primarily, if you go to the store or the mall or wherever, they're all damn near white. Now, when you go to the villages and stuff outside of Panama, they're all brown-skinned. That is just the way it is. And when you look at the political hierarchy, they're all white. Or not necessarily white, they're a light brown. They are a very, very light brown. But, you know, saying that, and then the cab drivers, all dark skinned. Yeah, you look at them and you say, all the cab drivers are dark skinned. That's kind of weird, you know, but that's just the culture they are. The Panamanians are not going to look at you for your color, but don't think they don't see it. So don't fool yourself thinking they don't see it. Oh, yeah, they see it. And whether you're American or whether you're Canadian, whatever, they see it. Oh, yeah, they know who, what, why, and where you are. Now, at no time of day or night did I ever feel threatened walking around at night. When I went to Nico's, I didn't feel there was a threat at all. And I walked about 7 or 8 blocks. No crime made me feel that it was a crime in progress or a potential crime. None at all. And I got there in the middle of the night and I was starving, and Nico's had what I wanted. Nico's was one of the places that had a lot of different foods and for a lot of different people, and it was authentic Panamanian, and the Panamanians went there after their shift. Now, I was at the courtyard at Motel Plaza, and I really enjoyed where I stayed at. The price was cheap. There was no problem, no issues. And saying all that, the Uber is as cheap as you're gonna get. If you're a foreigner, don't deal with the taxis. Don't deal with them. Just get an Uber and go. That way you know what the price is, and the price is so damn cheap, it's ridiculous. There were times I got in a taxi and they were talking about the fare was $1.35. Do I want to give a $3 tip? No, I'm giving a $1 tip. I'm giving a $1 tip because if the fare is $1.35, you give him $1. You give him a 75, 80%, tip anyway. That's how I looked at it. But the people were so easygoing, and at no point did I feel like my race or my language mattered. At no point did I feel that way. I mean, I never felt that way. I felt like, okay, if I'm getting screwed on the prices, so is everybody else. Because they're paying the exact same amount I'm paying for the exact same service. That's how I felt. That's what it looked like to me. Now, do I think you can make it in Panama if you have nothing? In Panama City? Yes. You can start with zero and make it in Panama City. There is no way I felt anything different. That was just me. Now, did I feel that I was treated differently? No, because the Panamanians only care about one thing. Do you have dollars or don't you? That's how they feel. But it was, it wasn't like you're American, I'm going to screw you out of your dollars. No, if you're a foreigner, they're going to screw you out of your dollars. That is how the country works. But I totally understand that. I get that. Not a problem. But by using certain apps, like WhatsApp is a must. Nobody is going to pick your phone call up if you ain't got WhatsApp. They're not going to pay international fees because you call them from Germany, United States, Canada. They're not going to pick your phone call up. WhatsApp is their filter. WhatsApp telling them, listen, I don't know who he is, what he is, but I know it's free to me to answer his call. That's WhatsApp. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, WhatsApp is going to say, okay, because everybody I called on the original number, they never picked up. I have been on WhatsApp, hello. They call quick as hell on WhatsApp. So, Panama is a city that there is crime. You just don't see it. And it's not physical, which is a big difference from the United States and from most countries. Yeah, you just don't see it. So, this is about Panama City. I'm going to break down some other videos in other cities in Panama. But this is your old school traveler telling you, man, Panama is a city that I am seriously considering going through the pensionado visa process, because I'm going to do that because I got nothing to lose. And even if you pay all the money to a lawyer, it's only $1,000. Can you live there very cheap? It's a lot cheaper than America. I'm talking about, you want to rent someplace where I live at, it's $3,000 normal. Panama is half that at the most. Depends on how you want to live, but at the most. But my budget is not the budget everybody else got. They trying to go there and live for free. I'm trying to live a similar lifestyle and know I'm going to put out $3 or $4 a month. That's me. I'm going to be happy and I'm going to have plenty of money to travel and do other things with. But that's just me in Panama City itself. But Panama City is a place that if you've never been anywhere in America, you can fly direct from most major cities. You want to go there and see what it's like. This is the Old School Traveler. Peace out, Panama City.